Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Inside Scoop episode 23 this Friday. Hey, Oskar.
How are you?
Oh, man. I'm in a creative rut again.
Good. I mean, not
Very
good.
good.
I well, out of
Yeah.
the most impossible comes out the most creative. So
We'll see. Yeah, just the situation currently where I looked. So I'm doing the blog, as we're trying to develop the open source, whatever solution for a blog. Um, in the meantime, I'm trying WordPress, and I've been collecting all of the past devlogs, of which there are seven weekly development videos. And I noticed that the last one was like almost a month ago or so. Even though I committed, I said, okay, this is going to be the thing that I'm going to do every week um, consistently. So I didn't
mhm.
sort of follow through with it. And now I haven't done one in quite a while. And it also makes it way easier to not do them anymore when you're not doing it. It's sort of like when you miss it once,
Right.
then it's way easier to just never get back into it because you already it's like, oh, your streak is over.
Mhm. I get what you mean. Yeah.
I've had that nonsense happen to me with Duolingo. You know how I said I'm gonna, keep learning Chinese and Mandarin and then keep going.
Yep.
And well, the thing happened where I missed one day, I think. I don't know what happened, but I just sort of missed it. And then the next day, I realized that I missed it. I was so bummed out. I was like, oh no, I lost the whole streak. But then I opened Duolingo, and I don't know what's happening right now. I'm trying to look to find Duolingo on my phone. I just don't see it. Oh, here we go. So they saved my streak somehow for one day. I was like, oh my god, dude. So sort of I missed it, but I didn't miss it.
Right.
So they
Yeah.
they they freezed it for one day, and well, now I'm technically on a 42-day streak with one day missing in the middle. So it's I don't know, man.
Yeah.
These goals and stuff that we sort of put onto ourselves. I don't know.
Don't
I don't know,
you
man.
contemplating whether they're actually important or
Yeah, sort of. So, well, you know that I became a John Blow fan and
yeah.
kept sort of referencing that guy a lot, and so the thing is, I watched a little excerpt from some interview about focus. So
Mhm.
the way he was talking about deep focus,
Mhm.
and
Forget who first said that.
sorry.
Nothing.
Uh,
I'll
okay.
pretend I, I'll pretend I'll pretend I never spoke about deep focus. Just
I
go on.
I don't remember, man.
Oh, well, thank you. But go on.
Sorry, dude.
I want to hear
Yeah.
what John has to say about deep focus.
Well, it was that sort of that for him personally, for example, even going to a noisy cafe to work is still better than working in a absolute peace and quiet environment, though having this thing looming over you, which is an expectation that someone might need something from you, or
Mm,
something is coming up, or something is,
yeah.
that. And I absolutely felt that in the
Well,
past for sure, you know.
I was looking into this actually recently. I was kind of looking up an unrelated topic, but it was about how like professors and stuff feel about students going to see them in their office and stuff,
Oh.
whether they're cool with that or whether it bothers them. And it was a student board, I think, as I read online, and one of the students told the story of a quite renowned math professor of theirs, um, that she went to see. I think it was she went to see, and he got pretty pissed off that she interrupted his thinking.
Oh. Whoa.
So, I mean, I can I can like definitely understand that, and just thinking about the future, if I were to have a career, in academia,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you have something like open hours where people can just come to your office and stuff. Um, Hopefully, it's not for too much during the day, but I would certainly need time where I can just sit down and be on my own for hours on end.
Yeah, very interesting thought, man. With the, I mean, the system, the way it works, I mean, I don't know how it's in the UK. Though I've heard some people still say, like, they can make, can't they make their own office hours, like dedicate the time, or there's
I
the
believe so.
university, sort of?
I believe so. I think you have like a minimum number of working hours, and I think then if you are um, head of the year, so like what do you call them here? We got like Michael Crab now. We previously had Allison. What are they? I can't remember what you call them. But head of the year, you basically go to them with like, and if any problems you have, personal or academic,
Mm-hmm.
for like
And I
cons-
mean, they're public personas, so I think we can call their names out the way you did. I
I think so.
think they're
Uh,
fine.
I don't. I can beep Peter. I don't think I was wrong to do that.
No,
It's just speaking about their position.
yeah.
I'm not going to mention anything about their character. Um, Lovely people, but uh, yeah, I think they have a requirement to have longer open office hours.
Than other professors.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not
Oh,
entirely sure about that.
possibly. I mean, I would probably it would probably make sense if you have to organize stuff and not only just do your own lectures, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
but
okay, I'm going to come back to the topic, so if you still have something to say about that.
yeah, I think it isn't a problem for everyone. Uh, it's people work in different ways, and people have different feel differently about their job as
Mhm.
researchers and stuff. So that all contributes. So some people will probably be fine and be happy to see somebody come into their office for a chat. But still, like,
For
nobody
sure
wants to
it's
be nobody wants to be interrupted all the time.
different people. Yeah, and yeah, so that's where my thought began is like maybe the way that my creative flow, whatever, how does it get interrupted? So during the day, small events like you sitting there and thinking, as you mentioned in that example where a professor gets interrupted by a student coming in. So it's a smaller scale event, and it's happening, and then a student comes in, and then boom, it's interrupted. And now I'm thinking more about my grand scale of the whole, months, weeks long creative process. Maybe that thing also gets interrupted. So not necessarily there has to be a specific continuous event that, started 1 hour ago and is going to end hour from now so that you could interrupt the event. Maybe that event can span weeks and it can be interrupted by, I don't know, a day of something else happening. Like,
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't think about it that way, but I didn't like associate the two. But I've definitely thought about both situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's an interesting way to look at it
Because
because
I've even had this weird thought about the. So it's very hard for me to explain, the long time span right now, but I- it may be easier to grasp if I explain this concept when I thought about habits and what makes a habit a habit. So, it's something that you do every day, for example, right? But can you call eating a Christmas dinner a habit or something that, because it still happens every time, but it happens every year or, happens every 2 weeks or whatever.
yeah.
Is it
Well, I think if we're going to be proper, we'd just call that tradition. I don't think
tradition? Yeah.
anybody would normally
No,
refer
yeah,
to
for
it
for
as
Christmas dinners, obviously, yeah, but for different things, like I don't know what to
uh,
to name, but
tradition occasion. But yeah, I wouldn't throw these in together. I think generally, just on based on it, what the consensus of the people is of what they call different things. Nobody would call those things a habit.
something that happens habitually, but the thing is, it probably depends on what the word means itself.
Well, habit probably has a proper definition in psychology. So
Routine behavior that is repeated regularly and tends to occur subconsciously. Here we go. So, but the thing is, it is getting repeated regularly, as in irregular intervals. Like every Friday or every week or every month, and then
yeah,
also it tends to occur subconsciously. So I was once thinking like, how far does the thing reach? The habit word. Can you say that a person every week does a specific thing at a set time?
right.
Like even recording a podcast on a specific time. And if you're subconsciously getting ready for it the day, and then like, does that count as a habit if your mind is already accustomed to doing this every time every week?
Um, well, I think there is with all things some part that happens subconsciously. Well, not with all things, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like when it comes close to Friday, maybe when it is Friday and it comes close to 8 o'clock, subconsciously somehow, maybe not subconsciously, maybe I look at the clock, or maybe subconsciously, subconsciously I look at the clock and I don't really think about the podcast consciously, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Still hard to make the distinction between consciously and unconsciously, and the
Subconsciously
line.
or unconsciously?
What?
Subconsciously or unconsciously?
Subconsciously and consciously.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to correct.
And we classify these into two things, but I put subconsciously close with intuitively. They're slightly different, but things you do intuitively also happen subconsciously. But I was also reading on habit here. Another thing it says it is something that is especially hard to give up to, because
Yeah,
I think we're
something like bad
jumping on
habits.
right. But could a good habit be a hard one to give up?
Hmm.
I mean, definitions are important, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's kind of interesting. So yeah, all of this talk began from the sort of um the being unproductive when someone something interrupts your process, and it depends on what the situation is, but like, me, I always have the notifications on everywhere usually.
yep, yep,
Emails, like my email currently, if I open it up, it literally has, well, only one email because I'm currently dealing with a situation of like account deletion on some platform where they claim that my account does not exist, even though I can go and log into their platform and see my data there. I'm like, well, you should be able to remove my data from your servers. So, but yeah, you just like it comes in, quickly deal with it and forget about it. And probably this would not work for me if I, scaled everything up. It became a more of a company or something where you have to deal with more and more requests, more and more emails, then obviously that would probably not work
Yeah.
because things just keep coming.
Yeah.
But the way it is right now, I've, unsubscribed from every possible mailing list that I don't care about.
Mm.
Um, I, made sure that I would receive as little emails as possible from any things that are meaningful but still could be dealt with, once a day or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how that interconnects with the process of me working because if I sit down, I don't necessarily have to be interrupted by an email. I can be interrupted by my own thoughts wandering somewhere.
Mm.
So that's another thing. It's like in intrinsic stuff that comes up and says, "Oh, hey, maybe we should go to YouTube and listen to something new instead of working on this." Like
Right. Yeah, that will be. I would call that your discipline.
discipline. Okay.
Um, like I think I'm the polar opposite probably of you because deep focus, which you completely forgot I mentioned, is like religion to me.
Yeah,
So
I absolutely blanked out. What the hell?
it was. I think it was the first podcast we did or the second.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then we had a long talk about deep focus and when that it doesn't always work, doesn't isn't always good. There's sometimes work where if you're too focused, uh, like it's so repetitive that if you're too focused, you just get so bored. So you just need something and something else in the background happening, so
Hmm.
you don't get bored. But there's times where I'm trying to figure something out that can be very hard. When it's problem solving, whatever. That definitely for me. I don't want to say what it is for everybody else, but I believe you do require deep focus to solve like proper um, hard problems in whatever it is that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, solutions can come to you as well, so you can, I don't know if this is the right word, get stuck in a rut. So as a programmer, I've discovered this very early on where I would sit at a problem, um, at a programming problem, till late in the night and I couldn't figure it out. And then the next day I woke up and I had the solution.
Oh.
Um, or very soon after waking up, I'd have the solution because as I'd go to sleep, I'd be thinking about it. And then kind of just taking that step back because when you're so into something, you get like tunnel vision and you really try to solve something one way and it's not working. Then you try to brute force it that way. But then you step back, kind of relax, and when you next come back to it, you probably even likely forgot the way you first approached it, and then you actually get the right way of approach. Uh, and
Mm.
it's a lot easier to solve the problem.
Oh, that's probably a good way, right?
And I
Because
know,
yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah, I was just gonna say that I didn't even think of it this way, but the way that you mentioned, you forgot the way that you approached it. Because usually, if you're approaching it the wrong way and then you get stuck on it and then you sort of get frustrated to say, like, this has to work, and you just
yeah,
don't even think outside the box, as they say, Don't.
yeah. And I've heard a lot of programmers talk about this experience, so it's pretty prevalent, I think.
Wow. Well, in a creative field, Well, I had a walk. Remember when I just was so like stuck with the design idea, and I think we already talked about this of doing the same thing and sort of expecting different results, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It really
yeah,
helps to change it up sometimes.
for sure. Don't get, you know, try not to get stuck on something unless it unless it does work, in which case you probably want to.
Yeah, and I wonder how like if it would be possible to do this sort of a research thing where uh, we would figure out what percentage of researchers or academia people or whatever well they keep doing discovery after discovery. It just keeps going, all of those new DNA stuff and then like anything. I wonder how many like actual academicians s-
Academics.
academicians, not academics. Academic is a what is academics?
Academician. Never heard
Yeah,
of the word, but yeah, a member of an academy.
a member of academia, because academics is like it's like a school. No, I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
I
so
think they're synonymous, but a teacher or scholar, academic. So they're pretty close in meaning. Sorry for
okay,
interrupting.
okay, it's okay. So yeah, so well, maybe it's more of a British way of saying it. Well, academics, academicians. Um, so the thing is, because academics are teachers, academicians are most likely researchers. I would guess.
Okay.
So I'm saying the okay, well, whatever, just different words. Anyway, so a researcher, pretty much a researcher who spends their life in academia and is researching drugs, new discoveries, whatever. What percentage of them use which method? Do they consciously think about it, or what percentage of them has it easier to just sit in a room with the closed doors and just look at a blank piece of paper until something comes out? How many of them actually let themselves chill? Uh, just an interesting thought.
Mm. I mean, a lot of their work is still quite repetitive and still quite determined. What isn't is the ideas that they come up with. And those we know can come up when you're doing it too, when you're taking the shower,
Mm-hmm.
when you're going to sleep, in those times. And I've looked into that a little bit. I want to look into it more, and that is kind of, there is something about those situations that makes a perfect condition for the most creative ideas. And innovation is, creativity, and then discovery is often similar, but discovery, well, I don't know the actual definitions, but let's say discovery is you're doing some of your ritual, not ritual, some of your normal
Routine.
routine research work, and then you discover something. Whereas, what was the other one? In innovation, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, is, let's say, it's the creative process. And the ideal place seems to be for the creative process the shower, the toilet, go into just before you fall asleep, falling asleep, and also other places. I mean, for painters, I guess I'm not a painter, but I think, or musicians, when they're in the process of doing what they're doing as well, when they're kind of the zone, I guess you could call it. I guess that could be quite a very good conditions for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
But as somebody who hasn't done proper research work, I can
Oh
only
yeah,
speak for
because
that.
I think I missed the fact that they don't just sit there and then yeah they read. I would assume
Right.
they read articles. They um, learn. They study the science itself and maybe do experiments. But yeah, I may just overlooked it. But yeah, still, I would assume that people do get their ideas at random. Just, after you do the work, after you do the actual work, then
Yeah.
you get this written in your subconscious mind, and then you
Mm,
you get that mind engaged too, and then your mind's just working to get the answer.
yeah, that's
Mm.
exactly it. Which makes for an interesting question of if some kind of research that has been done so far is wrong, and we know all research out there isn't correct, or research doesn't have to be wrong or correct. It can just be introducing new ways of looking at things or exploring new, data. But say the research, the aim of the research is to prove something true or wrong, and it tries to, it says, it proves something wrong, and then it's, say it's reproduced, and but still there for some reason something's not quite right about it. The trouble is, because if something becomes so well respected, but it's not the ideal way of looking at things still, that it is just fed to the next generation of researchers until somebody looks at it at a different way, maybe as we spoke before, makes an um there's some misinterpretation, and they, because of that, they realize that you could look at it a different way,
Yeah.
and then revolutionizes a field or something. Like the quote I have on my desktop by Max Planck, I already mentioned it in a previous episode: "Science progresses one funeral at a time." You know,
Mm.
basically that you don't take everything that came before you in academia for granted to be true. Question everything, and you can only do that to a certain extent. But if you're going to make, a world-changing breakthrough or a field-changing breakthrough, then it's going to probably come from either a new discovery or realizing something was looked at not quite the right way.
Mm.
Silence.
Academia. Yeah. And where do we go from here?
Not sure, we went down quite a rabbit hole there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if any of the things that I wanted to bring up are close to as profound as anything we've said in this episode so far, so it'd be a shame to bring it up. But
If you think you want, sure. I mean,
I don't feel compelled to.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
I
thing is,
guess.
we are approaching the 30-minute mark, so is it actually going to be our first one where we keep it under?
Perhaps yes. Perhaps yes. Well, there was one thing that I said I wanted to start the podcast off with, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was actually, I found a better word for it now, sort of a mantra,
Oh, here
or
we go. Yes,
or it
yes,
could be mantra.
yes.
It consists of only 4 words, and if it's grammatically correct, if it's not, it might be 5 words. But it goes: that which observed spoils. And if you want to try to guess what I mean by that, go ahead now.
That which observed spoils. I don't know. Usually everything in life. It's like trying to see if the grass is actually greener. But that's a complete weird example.
That's a
But everything is like when you actually figure it out, the whole mystery is gone. It's like you just find a plain boring truth.
right.
But yeah, I would assume an idea.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
I don't know. I'm just speculating. It's quite an interesting
It's
quote.
good. It's good. I like what you said so far because it's
Well,
not what.
also, frescoes and other paintings, whatever, even in the basic meaning that you have to keep them in the dark. You can only, like, I remember looking at a wall painting or like a fresco or something through a mirror, which is it pretty much you're standing in the dark looking at a mirror which is at a 45 degrees to the painting, which you can see through the mirror just so that it wouldn't, fade. Yeah, but
Mm,
if I heard it correctly, spoils. Is that the word?
right. Yeah, I used
Mm.
the word spoils in that case. I don't know. It just came to me that way.
Deteriorate, spoils. Hmm. Yeah, I would be interested to hear more about this. What your, well, as we started off, Constitution, then went on to, what is it, the
Yeah.
rule
Well.
set. Yeah, mantra probably. You found a
But yeah,
very good
that was
word.
actually that was unrelated because the mantra was about the four words that I said. That was the mantra.
Hmm.
The Constitution. I don't think we should get into that
Oh, okay,
this
that's a
episode.
different thing. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it might be in the Constitution in the end, but
We'll find a
I
better
like.
word for it.
Yeah, I do like your take on that because it's. I guess I didn't actually have a real description of what I meant. It was just kind of floating in my brain. It was
Mm-hmm.
kind of more the way I thought about it, or the way it came to me was just thinking about when you think about something for too long, it goes bad. So just basically overthinking. If you have an idea, or if you try to think too long for if you're, you know, um, making enough progress, or if you're approaching life in the right way, if you think about it too much, you become, you overthink, and it whatever way that you whatever way you did something, it goes bad, and then you have to find some new way of looking at the world, um, which is natural.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
I thought I would capture that in like the four words, and even what you said there. I mean, it all fits the description, or it all fits kind of the mantra.
That is so interesting about thoughts because, for example, I've experienced a completely different thing of this, or not even different, but like what observed for too long, or like for longer, reveals itself. Not necessarily spoils, but just reveals, and like having a vague idea of what I want to do in a creative way, not actually having the full vision, the full thought out plan,
Mm,
usually hurts me in the end because it's like going into the battlefield not knowing the enemy.
right.
Then
So
you end up there, and it reveals itself, and you realize that, oh, I did not spend enough time
yeah. So I
planning.
guess
So yeah.
so I guess it if you did think about it some more, it would kind of spoil your what could you call it, the
Spoil your. I know what you're probably looking for. Your,
illusion.
yeah, illusion, something like that.
Yeah, I guess that might be what I was trying to capture with it.
Mm. Well, I can share a mantra too then.
Okay,
Um,
what's yours?
Known as the 6 P's. Well, you can shorten it to 5 P's, but 6 P's makes it more, gives it more oomph. So it is, proper preparation prevents piss poor performance, and it's very
Yeah,
simple yet very powerful, and it, you know,
I like that. It's more to the point.
Just straight there. No need to,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, it affects it. Yeah. I mean, that's straight to the point. You know what it says. I think that one
I
is
don't like overthinking.
the one I said is kind of self-descriptive. I mean, it's a descriptive of itself. If you think about that for too long, it's all of a sudden it's a terrible mantra.
Sometimes you gotta just be a simple man, bro.
So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to capture in words, but it's
Yeah, but
speaks to
I
me.
get what you're. Yeah, I see what you
Yeah.
mean. Mm.
Piss poor preparation.
Proper preparation.
Proper
I mean,
preparation.
I think you could put it the other way. Piss poor preparation prevents. No, but then you would need to say good performance.
Right.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, okay.
it's an interesting one.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. And I think the Constitution would be made up of a bunch of mantras, really, that I could repeat to myself every morning or something. I don't know. Because, like religions indoctrinate people by having you say things over and over and over again for years.
Yeah.
Indoctrinate myself with some good stuff.
Yeah, I've been indoctrinating myself with one very strong and powerful thing for 2 years already because it was my password. A sentence of stuff. Now, that we talked
Can't tell
about
me the password.
Yep. The thing is, I'm not gonna tell you.
Wow.
But the thing is that we could try and keep the secrets. We could, talk about the passwords next week and
Sure.
try and get
exciting.
someone over. Because I see you became a bit of a security freak.
It's a kind of a procrastination thing as well, but I like it. It's good procrastination. It means I never get hacked.
Sometimes the more you observe it, the faster it spoils.
Right, okay. But yeah, no, like nobody would go to the extent to try to hack me.
If someone hacked me, I would be like, yeah, well, fuck it. If someone would hack someone who claims to be unhackable, now we're talking.
Yeah.
And I think there's usually a bigger bounty.
I don't want to challenge anyone to try to hack me now, because they will.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Usually, if you care about something as much like that and you put too much meaning to it, you
Well, if you put it as a
on
challenge out there, yeah.
No, a challenge is one thing, but like if you value something so much like that, it's quite a different topic. Privacy and security, a thing that we would need to revisit.
I don't think you can turn it into a bad thing in terms of security, other than wasting my time.
No, I don't think there's a way to over secure, I guess, but it's just that.
Right, I think
there is the golden, there's usually the very beautiful graph, x-axis being time investment, y-axis being
yes,
like security of your account, and then the more time you spend, the secure it's gonna be. The less time you spend, the probably less secure it's gonna be. But like, and then maybe another axis comes in, which is the wait, did I say time? Yeah, the time you spend researching and also the effort you need to go through to access your accounts, for example, because if you put it under seven locks,
right,
and then hide the keys in the miracles of the world, however many the miracles are there, whatever, maybe 7. So, and then you have to go to the pyramids of Giza. You have to, visit all the locations just to unlock your account. Well, this is obviously very exaggerated, but if you need to find that golden middle. So,
yes,
cool thing.
Indeed. Yeah, you really did take it to an extreme there.
Anyway,
That's good.
I enjoyed the conversation today. Yeah, it was a very spontaneous one.
I don't, yeah, okay, I guess. I mean, we do this at the same time every week. I wouldn't call it spontaneous, but
Topic
it
wise, yeah.
was,
But I think we're just promoting spontaneity every week. And it's kind of good for us both. And we could research a bit more into Tao again, because that's what
well,
Tao,
well, I think,
Zen, and Buddhism and all that.
yes. Well, I think I'm building a habit of actually thinking about interesting things more, things that can extend my worldview more, because I've got to have something for the podcast at the end of the week, and I also enjoy it in the meantime. So yeah.
But maybe you have it inside you already.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Maybe you already have quite a lot of interesting insights to share. And
Well, this will be a silly thing to say because I totally didn't think it through, but you are only as interesting as the stuff you read. I totally did not think that through, but let that sit there. Obviously, as the people you speak to, the experiences you have as
mhm.
well. But yeah, it's just a stupid little
No, but yeah, if you
white girl
look at
quote.
it, if you look at this more universal meaning, you get the point that yeah.
I'm gonna be labeled sexist. White girl
Yes.
on Facebook. That's better.
Hmm. Maybe
White girl on Facebook photo quote. That is so specific. Nobody can possibly start a movement against me.
no. We also need an age group. So maybe like
14-year-old white girl on Facebook. R/ I'm 14. This is deep. Type of quote.
well, okay. If we want to de-escalate, we could say some teenage girl or yeah, it's usually girl quotes, and it is a stereotype, but it is true. Uh,
Mhm.
and then
Thankfully,
I like the movement how they you post a picture and then instead of copy pasting a quote, now to be more edgy they just write hashtag insert deep quote because oh man, it's weird.
yeah,
Anyway, I think we're gonna end it here today.
it's a good time. Not too long, not too short.
Yeah, I like it. It's a cool one. Appreciate your thoughts. Thank you
You as
for
well.
thank you for the beautiful mind scratching conversation. And
Yeah, I liked your take on the mantra, particularly.
yeah, that was
So
something you hit me spontaneously with. I was like, "What is that?"
yeah,
That's
it was good
that's a
that
good one. It's a good one.
I asked you to see what it means to you first, or what you
Yeah, I
think it
think we
means.
should more often
That is actually I discovered
ask
today called the Socratic method.
Socratic method.
It's basically instead of so Socrates allegedly didn't teach people by telling them how things are, because he
Oh,
believed
that's the
that all
Zen
he
method.
knew, because well, I mean, let's because all he knew was that he knew nothing apparently,
Mm.
and so he instead of telling people stuff that he thought were the truth or something, he instead asked people to find the truth, just to see
Mm.
who is the wisest. There's a whole story, but
Mm.
to see who is wiser than Socrates, because there was an oracle apparently in the mythos, in the mythology. I don't know how true it is. There's apparently an oracle that said that Socrates is the wisest man of Athens, or something like that. Maybe another place. I think Athens or Greece. And then so he took that as a challenge to find the person who is wiser. Or sorry, he took that as a puzzle to figure out if there is a person wiser. And it's interesting. I need to look more into it because I'm definitely butchering it, but
Yeah, I'd like to talk about this more and learn about this more
And you
because
said it was like Zen or something.
yeah, it's like the Zen monk method, or just like one of the great stories of a student coming to a Zen monk, and the Zen master um, is known for violence or whatever. It says, if you're here to ask a question and you're gonna ask a question, I'm gonna give you 30 whips with my stick or something. If you don't ask anything, I'm also gonna give you 30 smacks with the stick.
Okay.
So it's more it's just like, why are you here and what do you want to know? Because I don't have anything to teach you.
Right.
It's
Yeah, that's similar.
interesting stuff from Zen. I'll have to look into that more, and I think we could present that
We could
ourselves.
talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
definitely.
cool beans. I think wrapping up this week and looking forward to next week. So it's either Zen slash Socrates.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting if I looked more into Socrates
Yeah,
and
and
you
then
looked more into Zen
we could sort of
and have an exercise like that.
damn. Or
That'd be.
security. And I mean, I'll try to monitor the situation. I'm trying to be more reactive
Mm-hmm.
and see what comes out of it. And if anything, monitor the situation in terms of how much of a security privacy junkie you become. Pardon the words, but
Yeah,
and
that's
then get
about
someone
right.
on to actually chat and see what the implications are.
Yeah, that will be interesting.
Yeah, well, thank you for the discussion.
Thank you.
See y'all, everyone, later. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye.